A small bird lowers its head into the ear of a giant animal. It is not feeding only itself. Every tick, every tiny insect, and every strand of hair it pulls from the body of its host could become life for the chicks waiting inside a dark tree hollow. This is the red-billed oxpecker, a bird that spends much of its life on the backs of giants. It lives around the ears, across the backs, and between the folds of skin of Africa's largest mammals. But the most remarkable part of its story is not how it feeds. It is how this bird builds a nest, incubates its eggs, and raises its fragile young using what it finds on the bodies of giants. Across the African savanna, the red-billed oxpecker is hardly impressive because of its size. It is small, very small, especially beside a buffalo, a giraffe, or a rhinoceros. Yet, on the bodies of these enormous animals, it moves as if walking across its own private landscape. Its claws grip tightly to thick skin, while its sharp eyes scan every fold and crease. Its bright red bill dips toward an ear, a patch of fur, or a hidden fold of skin. To the host, the bird's presence may feel familiar, and sometimes irritating. To the oxpecker, it is a rich feeding ground. But when the breeding season arrives, everything changes. Every feeding trip is no longer just about keeping one adult bird alive. It may determine the survival of an entire nest. Before there are eggs, there must be a safe place to hide. The oxpecker does not build an exposed nest on an open branch like many other small birds. Instead, it chooses a sheltered chamber inside a tree trunk, where daylight enters only through a narrow opening. Inside the hollow, the oxpecker begins transforming the space into a nest. It carries in dry grass, fine roots, and, most remarkably of all, soft animal hair gathered from the bodies of large mammals. Those strands of hair, small traces of life from the savanna, become a warm, soft lining for the eggs. Deep inside the dark tree hollow, the nest is enclosed, protected, and insulated from the outside world. Then the female lays her eggs, their pale shells standing out against the darkness. The incubation period is the quietest chapter of the story. There are no chicks calling for food yet, only patience. The eggs cannot keep themselves warm, and their survival depends entirely on the care of the parents. Then, one day, the silence changes. A tiny crack appears on the surface of one egg. A chick does not enter the world with strength. It enters through weakness, blind, naked, and completely helpless. From that moment on, the greatest danger is hunger. The chicks must be fed constantly. Day after day, they grow from fragile hatchlings into young birds covered with new feathers. With every meal, they become stronger, preparing for the moment they will leave the safety of the tree hollow. Soon, they will take their very first flight into the giant world of the African savanna.